All right, let's dive right in and tackle one of the trickiest distinctions on the entire BCBA task list, B14, stimulus versus response generalization. Look, if you've ever found yourself staring at a scenario question totally tangled up between these two, trust me, you are not alone. But stick with me, because by the end of this, we're going to make it all make sense. Crystal clear, I promise. So, here's our game plan. We're going to start with the big picture, like why does generalization even matter so much? Then, we'll break down each concept, one by one, with some really simple rules and clear examples. After that, it's showdown time. We'll put them head to head, walk through a classic exam question, and then wrap it all up with the key takeaways. Sound good? Let's go. Okay, first things first. Before we even get into the nitty-gritty definitions, we got to talk about why generalization is such a big deal. I mean, it's a cornerstone of our field for a reason. And this isn't just about passing the exam. This is about the very heart of what we do and why our work actually matters. And seriously, I'm not kidding when I say you're in good company. This is a classic trip-up. It doesn't matter if you're cracking open the Cooper book for the very first time or you've been in the field for years. So let's just clear this up, once and for all. And just so you know, everything we're talking about today is grounded right in the official stuff, the BCBA Test Content Outline, specifically item B14. This is essential, 100% testable content, and mastering it, yeah, that's non-negotiable for exam day. So why is this so important? Well, B14 is part of domain B, concepts and principles, and that domain makes up a whopping 14% of your entire exam. On a test where every single point counts, you better believe that section is a heavyweight. We've got to nail it. But let's be real for a second. This stuff goes way beyond just passing a test. This is what it's all about. You know, when Bowler, Wolf, and Risley gave us the 7 dimensions of ABA, generality was right there. And think about it. If a skill we teach only works in the therapy room with us, have we really made a difference? Have we created meaningful, lasting change? No way. Getting this right isn't just a goal, it's our ethical duty. All right, let's build our foundation. We're going to focus on the first piece of the puzzle and get it down cold. Let's talk stimulus generalization. Okay, so here's the official textbook definition. It's the occurrence of a learned response in the presence of a stimulus that is similar to, but not identical to, the trained stimulus. Right, so in plain English, it's when a behavior we've taught starts popping up in new situations, with new people or different materials. Things that kind of look like the original setup, but aren't exactly the same. Okay, now this is what you need to remember. This is the simple rule, the mental shortcut. I call it the one thing rule. For stimulus generalization, the response, the behavior itself, it stays the same. The one thing that changes, the stimulus. That could be the person, the place, the object. You get it. The stimulus changes, the response does not. Let's make this super concrete. Picture this. You teach a client to say hi to their RBT. The response is always the same. They say hi. But then they see a new therapist and say hi. They see their teacher at school and say hi. See? The response is the same, but the stimulus, the person, changes. Or how about this? A kid learns to point to their family's golden retriever and say dog. Then they see a little poodle on a walk and say dog. They see a beagle in a book and say dog. The response, dog, is always the same. The stimulus, the specific dog, is what's changing. It's that same pattern every time. Okay, perfect. We have stimulus generalization locked in. So now let's flip the script and look at its counterpart, response generalization. And what's cool is you'll see how these two are perfect mirror images of each other. All right, let's hit the technical definition first. It's the occurrence of a novel response that's functionally equivalent to the trained response in the presence of the same stimulus. So what does that mean? It means the person starts doing new stuff, things you didn't explicitly teach, but those new behaviors get the same job done as the one you did teach. That phrase, functionally equivalent, you got to burn that into your brain. And here it is, the one thing rule for this side of the coin. It's the exact opposite of what we just covered. This time, the stimulus, the situation, the antecedent, it stays the same. The one thing that changes? The response. The person comes up with different but equally effective ways to respond to that one situation. Let's go back to our examples. So the RBT enters the room. That's the same stimulus every single time. But you taught the client to say hello. Now, sometimes they say hi, other times they say hey, or maybe they just give a little wave. See? One stimulus, but a whole range of different responses that all serve the same function of greeting. Or you give a kid a box of blocks. Same stimulus every time. You taught them to build a 3-block tower, but now they're building a 4-block tower, or maybe even a little bridge. The responses are changing, but the stimulus, the box of blocks, stayed the same. All right, you ready? This is the moment of truth. We've defined them, we've seen the examples, now it's time for the showdown. Let's put these two concepts head to head and make this distinction absolutely 100% unmistakable. Okay, look at this. It lays out the core difference perfectly. On the left, for stimulus generalization, you've got one single response happening across multiple similar stimuli. Now look at the right, for response generalization. You've got multiple functionally equivalent responses happening in the presence of one single stimulus. It's a perfect inverse relationship. They're exact opposites. And this table, it breaks it down even simpler. Just follow the word varies. In stimulus generalization, the stimulus varies. The response stays the same. In response generalization, the response varies. The stimulus stays the same. That's it. That's the whole game. When you're staring down a scenario question, you just have to ask yourself, what's the one thing that's changing? And here you go. This is your secret weapon for exam day, your mnemonic. For stimulus gen, it's SSS. Same response across several stimuli. Got it? SSS. And for response gen, it's RRS, a range of responses to a single stimulus. RRS. Seriously, write this down, put it on a flashcard, commit it to memory. This little trick will save you so much time and nail you some crucial points on the exam. Okay, so knowing the definitions is great, but applying them when the clock is ticking on the exam, that's the real test. So let's shift gears from theory to practice. Let's see how this actually plays out on the exam and in your day-to-day clinic work. All right, here we go. A classic exam-style scenario. Listen to this. A child is taught to ask for a break by saying, "Break, please." At school, when he feels overwhelmed, he signs break instead. This is an example of... Okay, before I give you the answer, just think about our rules. What's the one thing that changed here? Was it the stimulus or was it the response? Let's break it down. Here's the 4-step system to dissect any question like this. Step 1, what was the taught skill? Okay, it was vocally saying, "Break, please." Step 2, what's the situation? Well, he feels overwhelmed. That's our antecedent stimulus, and it's the same in both cases. Step 3, and this is the key, what changed? The response changed. It went from a vocal command to a sign. So step 4, what's our answer? With 100% confidence, it's response generalization. See? The system will get you the right answer every single time. Whoa, we have covered a lot of ground. So let's bring it all home. Let's boil everything down to the most critical, need-to-know points you should walk away with today. Look, if you forget everything else, just remember these 3 things. Number 1, the one thing rule. Always ask yourself, what is changing here? The stimulus or the response? Number 2, use your mnemonic, SSS for stimulus gen, RRS for response gen. It's your quick key for the exam. And finally, number 3, and this is the most important, remember that this is all about generality. Our ultimate goal is to create skills that actually work out there in the real world. So, I'm going to leave you with a question, a little challenge to take into your practice. As you go into your sessions this week, I want you to think beyond just teaching a skill in a vacuum. Actively ask yourself, how am I going to program for this skill to show up in new places, with new people? And how can I encourage a whole range of other useful behaviors that get the same job done? Don't just teach a skill. From day 1, plan for generalization.